Emily Carter had never imagined her name would end up on a contract worth $100,000 and a lifetime of heartbreak. She wasn't supposed to be here. The deal was meant for her sister, Lily, the graceful, soft-spoken one everyone adored. But when Lily disappeared 2 days before the meeting, leaving behind only a note and hospital bills that were drowning their family, Emily did the unthinkable. She signed the surrogacy contract in Lily's name. If you believe true kindness always finds its way back, please tap the like button now and subscribe to support more stories like this. The man across from her, David Hale, looked every bit the successful Silicon Valley entrepreneur. Polished, poised, eyes that rarely revealed what he was thinking. His voice was calm as he explained the rules. No personal contact outside the agreement, no emotional attachment, the baby would be his alone. And Emily, pretending to be Lily, had nodded, hiding the tremor in her hands. David wasn't unkind, he was broken. His fiancée had died in an accident a year earlier, taking their unborn child with her. This surrogacy wasn't about building a family, it was about trying to heal a wound that never quite closed. As weeks turned into months, Emily carried his child quietly, living in the small guest house on his property in the hills outside San Francisco. He visited rarely, always polite, distant, and mechanical in his concern, but she noticed the way he lingered when she laughed, or how his eyes softened when she talked to the baby growing inside her. He didn't know her laughter wasn't Lily's. He didn't know her kindness came from someone who wasn't supposed to exist in his story at all. One rainy afternoon, Emily fainted in the garden. David found her there, panic cracking through his composure. He carried her inside, his voice shaking as he told her to hold on. For the first time, his coldness melted. That night, as she lay in the hospital bed, he stayed by her side, his hand trembling around hers. "You scared me," he whispered, his voice rough. "I don't think I could lose another person I care about." Emily's heart ached. Every word he said, every tender glance, was meant for Lily. Months later, when she gave birth to a healthy baby boy, David wept for the first time since his fiancée's death. He named the child Noah, a name that meant rest, peace. The contract was over, but as Emily packed her things, David appeared at the door, holding Noah in his arms. "You can stay," he said softly. "If you want. You're good with him. You feel like home." She wanted to stay more than anything, but the lie between them had grown too heavy. So she told him the truth, that she wasn't Lily, that the woman he had once loved had vanished, leaving her to take her place, that everything, the kindness, the laughter, the care, had come from someone who only wanted to save her sister, not steal her future. David stood frozen, Noah's soft breathing the only sound between them. Then, without a word, he turned and left the room. Emily moved out that night, leaving behind the only family she had ever felt part of. She returned to her tiny apartment in Oakland, back to double shifts and empty nights. Weeks passed. She didn't expect forgiveness. She didn't expect anything. Then, one morning, a knock echoed at her door. She opened it to find David holding Noah, his eyes softer, warmer, and somehow understanding. "I read your note," he said quietly, "the one you left with the contract. You wrote, 'Please, take care of the child. He deserves more love than I ever had growing up.'" That wasn't Lily's handwriting. Emily blinked back tears. "You knew? I think I always did," he said. "But I was too afraid to believe someone could care that deeply for someone else's pain." He placed Noah in her arms. "You gave me back hope, Emily. You carried more than a child. You carried me through the worst part of my life." In that moment, the walls between them fell, not with grand confessions, but with quiet gratitude and forgiveness. They didn't rush into love. It grew slowly, over shared mornings feeding Noah, over evenings spent watching the sunset from that same garden where she'd once collapsed. The lie that once bound them had become a bridge, leading both toward healing, forgiveness, and a kind of love neither had expected to find. Months later, David stood before her again, holding not a contract, but a ring. This time, he said, voice trembling, "No names are borrowed, no secrets, just us." Emily smiled through tears. just us. We'd love to hear your story. What is the most memorable act of unexpected kindness you have witnessed or received? Share it in the comments below. And if this story touched your heart, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who still believes that love and kindness can rewrite even the darkest chapters.